Hello and welcome to a new video. Today I'm going to be doing the mid-year book freakout tag. I have not done this I think in a few years, I want to say, but I am very excited to talk about the books that I have been reading so far this year. So the first question on this tag is best book that you've read so far this year. There's quite a few that I have really enjoyed reading this year, but I think the one that I will probably return to the most as a favorite is The Love Hypothesis by Ali Hazelwood. I know this is kind of a book that a lot of people love and then a lot of people hate, but I really just had such a fun time reading it, and I really liked the characters, and I was lucky enough to get to meet the author in person and get my book signed, so that was just a really special experience. And I love me a good contemporary romance and had so much fun reading it, so I think this has to still be my favorite, although there have been a lot of really good books that I've read so far this year. Some honorable mentions: Love and Gelato, the Hawthorne, the Inheritance Games is the first one, and some other ones. I've read some good books this year, so this one still I think is going to be my favorite so far though. The second question is the best sequel, and I'm actually throwing it back a bit with this one, with The Upside of Unrequited by Becky Albertalli. This is a sequel companion novel to Love, Simon, and I just recently read this years and years after it's come out, but I really enjoyed it, and it was just really fun to pick up like a YA contemporary read, because that's not something I've read a lot in the last couple years, so I just really enjoyed it. I loved the characters. They were so relatable in their experiences, and I just thought it was the sweetest story, and it really balanced the romance aspect with like the self-love aspect with the family aspect really well, and I just really enjoyed it. And I think Becky Albertalli, she just never misses. She's a really incredible writer and has created so many beautiful stories that people all over have been able to relate to, and I think she's just really incredible for that. And I still love Simon. I recently have been watching Love, Victor, and I think all of it has just accumulated into a really big love for the worlds that she has created. The third question is a new release that you haven't read yet but you want to, and I'm going to go with The Hawthorne Legacy by Jennifer Lynn Barnes. Like I mentioned, The Inheritance Games was one of my top reads so far of the year, and I haven't picked up the sequel just quite yet, but I really want to, and I think the third one comes out in the fall if I'm not mistaken. But I enjoyed the first one so much. It was just had me on the edge of my seat trying to figure out this mystery, and also just like the relationship aspects of the story as she tries to navigate this family and their craziness. I had so much fun reading it and like could not put it down, so I'm so excited to pick up the sequel and see where it goes, because a lot of the questions were kind of answered in the first one, but like realistically we know that's not the end of it, because the guy who died, the rich guy who left the money to her, like, he was crazy, I swear to you. He just was real extra and left a lot to be done. So I'm very excited to see where the mystery continues to go, and just see what happens, because I really am enjoying this series. Number 4 is your most anticipated release for the second half of the year. I couldn't think of any really. I just don't keep up on releases, really. So either the books I thought of had already come out or weren't out until 2023. The first one I thought of was volume 5 or 6, whatever the last volume of Heartstopper is, but that won't be out this year. I chose Belladonna by Adeline Grace. I don't know why I'm like super hyped for this. I think it's just the pretty cover, and the way she's described the book on like Instagram and TikTok. It sounds really fun. I've never read a book by Adeline Grace, so maybe I don't like her writing. I don't know. It just had a pretty cover and is one of the only books I could think of that I know comes out later this year. I think it comes out in August or so. Yeah, I'm terrible at keeping up with releases. I think we've known that. And I'm not, like, usually I think an answer I would go for is like whatever Cassandra Clare's next book is, but does she even have a book come out this year? I don't know. I don't know. So I'm gonna stick with Belladonna because it looks cool and it has a cool title. Number 5 is the biggest disappointment of the year, and I have 2 actually that I want to talk about. So the first one is called The One by John Mars. I read this book because it was recommended to me, and it's super popular and has really good reviews on Goodreads. And once again, I've come to the conclusion, I think I need to just give up on thrillers. I need to give up on the genre. I need to stop trying. Oh, one more, maybe I'll like this one. I'm not gonna like it. I really struggled with the writing. I think part of it is the audiobook was not the way to go. There are way too many characters, and I had a really hard time keeping track of which storyline belonged to which character. And then beyond that, it was just like so unbelievable. And I realize I read books with aliens and spaceships and like fairies and demons. I get that, and I can, you know, believe the fantasy of that, but this was trying so hard to come off of like, this could be real. And I was like, no, it couldn't. You can't find a DNA love match. That's just not, it's not there. It doesn't make any sense, and it's just, and like, why would someone come up with that? I don't know. And I just had a hard time caring about any of the characters. And I realized that's not exactly the point of a thriller, which I think is my problem. A thriller is about the plot and like really what's driving that. And I just don't care, which I feel like is on me. I shouldn't be criticizing the book because it probably serves its genre well. I just didn't enjoy it, and to me, if I don't enjoy the book, I won't like it. It doesn't matter if I appreciate the writing or something. I won't like it if I don't, like, if I'm not enjoying myself. And I also didn't appreciate the writing. I thought the writing was really bad. And the characters were just so infuriating. Most of them were so annoying. The only one maybe interesting would have been the lady who was investigating the serial killer, but then they had to get it all mixed up with the serial killer himself. That story could have been interesting if it was a lady who was investigating a serial killer and she was trying to figure out who it was. That in itself could have been a good story. But then having to get a lot of the story from the killer's perspective, not my vibe. I did not like that. I didn't like him, and you're not supposed to like him. He's literally a serial killer, but it was just uncomfortable for me and a little too graphic. And then the other characters were just as annoying, like the one who leaves his girlfriend for the guy who's his DNA match, and then he changes his mind and goes back to her, but because she's pregnant, but you know, things happen, and then the lady who was tricked into having a baby by the family, and then the baby was kidnapped. I don't know. It was just a whole mess. I didn't enjoy 1 minute of it. At like 20%, I thought about DNFing, but then I was like, no, I'll keep trying, and I should have DNF'd it. So that was a huge disappointment. Not to dwell on the negative, but I do have a second one for this answer, and that's We'll Always Have Summer by Jenny Han. I don't even know what to say about this. What year was this written? Maybe that'll make me cut it some slack. Yeah, 2011. That explains a lot. I enjoyed the first 2. I don't love her flip-flopping between the 2 brothers. Not my vibe. In my point of view, there is a clear, I think, like, who is the better brother. Like, to me, I know who I like better, and I think she chooses wrong. While he's not actually, so I like Jeremiah better, and he's not portrayed well in this book. He's not a cool dude in this book, but in the first 2, I liked him better. But this book, I have never, even reading YA, I have never, like, had a feeling like, am I too old to be reading this? Like, it feels like I finally feel like I'm more mature than the characters. Like, I feel smarter than the characters. This was my experience reading this. I was like, you have to be kidding me. How dumb do you have to be to like be making these decisions. Every decision Belly made in this book, I wanted to slap her across the face and tell her to go listen to her mother. Like, is this what it feels like to be old? I don't know, but this book was a hot mess. I hated every second of it. I read it really fast, and I read a lot of it like sitting in the pool, and my mom was reading her book, and I just would like sigh out loud. I'm like, you have to be kidding. This book is a joke. And I'm sorry if you love this book. This is, my opinion does not reflect, any of my negative opinions does not reflect. If you like it, like it. I think maybe if I had read this as a much younger person, maybe I would have liked it. But even then, honestly, not sure, because it was a lot. It matches my shirt though. It wasn't, I didn't like it. I didn't like it. The next one is The Biggest Surprise, which I think for me has been Illuminae by Amy Kaufman and Jay Kristoff. I was really nervous getting into this book because of the mixed media format. I wasn't sure if I was going to like it, or be able to really connect with the characters, because it wasn't written in a way where you really get to see a lot of like the inner workings of their minds. But I ended up loving this book so much. Like, for the last like 300 pages, I could not put it down. I was so invested, and there were so many twists and turns that I really enjoyed reading. And overall, I just really, really loved this book, and I loved the characters, and I truly did feel so connected with them, even through like a different experience of reading and getting to know the characters. It worked really well, and I just loved it, and I cannot wait to pick up the next ones. The next question is a favorite new author, either a debut or new to you. I'm going to do a new to me author, and that is Alice Oseman, I don't even know how to say her name, but she is the author of the Heartstopper series. This is volume 4. I love these books so much, and I love the show so much. It's just the best story, and the storytelling is so incredible, and I love the characters, and I love seeing the relationships develop, and the way it addresses mental health and just everything. It's so good, and I love it so much, and I am definitely going to be going back and reading some of her past works. She does have some novels as well to these graphic novels, and I can't wait to read more of her stuff. I think she is such an incredible writer, and she just touches on topics that are really serious in such an incredible way, because she does it so delicately, but she's so honest about it at the same time, and I think she's just really, really incredible. And her art is also obviously really good and just super cute, and everything is just amazing, and I love it, and I can't wait to read more by her. She's got quite a few other books, so I will be getting to those. I also can't wait for the next, and I think final volume of Heartstopper, obviously. So very much in love with her this year, and I can't wait to see what else she does in the future. Number 8 was Newest Fictional Crush, and I'll be honest, I couldn't really think of one. Like, there wasn't one that really stood out to me this year. I'm gonna go with Adam from The Love Hypothesis, because this is probably my favorite book of the year so far. But like, realistically, I mean, I love Adam, but he's not like gonna be an all-time favorite crush at the same time. I love the story in this one, and I do really love Adam, but I don't know who else I would choose. I mean, maybe Nick from Heartstopper too, but there's been a lot of really good characters this year. I think I've read a little bit less romance this year. If you can count, which I guess I can do whatever I want, Moon Knight could be a favorite crush of the year. I think I could go with that, right? Moon Knight or Adam? Do I have a type? I feel like this looks like I have a type, but number 9 is Newest Favorite Character, which I've already kind of talked about it, but I think the characters in Heartstopper are my newest favorite characters that I think about a lot. My favorite is Nick, probably, but I do really love Charlie, and I connect with him on a lot of levels, but I like reading from Nick's point of view the best, and I really enjoy him, and I love all the other characters in their friend group as well, and just have a lot of fun getting to know everyone in this world, and just falling in love with them. And I think in the show has just been the most like just the best experience, like reading it and then watching the show right after, and like just seeing everything come to life exactly how it is on the page has been really amazing, and I will love Nick forever. Number 10, a book that made you cry. I am going to bring out Moon Knight again because boy did this book make me cry. So this is a bind-up of the Lemire run, which follows Moon Knight in his like mind palace situation, where he is having to work through a lot of trauma, and it's so depressing. Here's the page particularly that probably made me cry the most. It's just so good. It's so well written. It's just the most incredible thing, and it made me cry at work, so doing great. Number 11, a book that made you happy. I don't have this book on me because I don't own it, but that is Love and Gelato by Jenna Evans Welch. I loved this book. I think the setting and the travel and just the summer vibes of it just made me so happy. It was the sweetest story. I loved getting to see Lena not only discover herself, but discover who her mother was, and getting to find new friends in a new place and adjust to a whole new life after so much change. And I just really loved it. And I'm a sucker for like the following the journal type of story, you know, like when they find like a parent's journal or like a journal from the past. Like, it was just the absolute sweetest thing, and made me want to like visit Italy and eat gelato. Not exactly in my budget right now, but I could probably manage the gelato part. Number 12 is the most beautiful book you have bought or received this year, and I would be remiss if I went through a whole video without mentioning Little Women. This is the Puffin and Bloom edition of Little Women by Louisa May Alcott. Miss Kendra, my very dearest friend on Instagram, gifted this to me for my birthday. It has a quote on the back that says, "Life and love are very precious when both are in full bloom," to go with the decoration of all the flowers and the four sisters on the front. And then we have these end papers that literally I wish I could wallpaper my entire room with, and it's just such a beautiful edition. And I love how it's like this tiny little pocket edition. Obviously this wouldn't actually fit in your pocket, but it's beautiful and I love it, and we all know how much I love to collect editions of Little Women, so this is a beautiful addition to my collection. So, and lastly, the last question is, what books do you want to read by the end of the year? And I got it out. One book that I really want to get to soon is Kingdom of the Wicked by Carrie Maniscalco. This was one of my most anticipated reads, I think last year, because this came out in 2020, and I didn't get to it, and I just haven't been in the mood for fantasy a lot lately, but this is one, when I am in the mood for fantasy, this is the one I want to pick up. I love Carrie Maniscalco. I mean, it's Carrie Maniscalco, how could I not? And I can't wait to pick this up when I am in the mood for it, because I know I'm just going to fall in love with her characters. I always do. She is an incredible writer. Also, cool cover, and I think the sequel to this is already out. And I know she's been kind of playing even more into the romance aspect of the story. Obviously, that was a big part of the Stalking Jack the Ripper series, but it is in this one as well. And this one has more of a fantastical element to it, so I am very excited to give it a try and finally get to this one. So that was my tag for the mid-year book freakout. I hope you enjoyed. We talked a lot of books, had a lot of fun. I upload every Sunday. Like, share, subscribe, all that fun stuff, and I will talk to you guys next time. Bye!